PVM, live, positive vibes maybe, once again, New York, part 3. Jeide track, how y'all doing, how y'all living this evening, this beautiful evening. It's the cops, the cops, FDNY. Sending our love to y'all right now, hope y'all staying warm. Hope y'all feeling beautiful on this evening. As we send out this, pardon me, as we send out this invitation as we usually do. Tonight's conversation is around Black History Month, but we're gonna take a different direction, a different approach to it. Before we get into all the good shits, how y'all living, man? For real, for real. You know? Send us what y'all did this weekend, man. Let us know. Pull us into y'all lives and let us know what's going on so that, you know, we can celebrate with y'all walking into the new year in more aspects than just a happy new year celebration or a few fireworks, you know? Oh, hold on. We'll take the mute off now. You know what I'm saying? Dash, what's going on with you, fam? Send an invite. We're gonna get right into it. I ain't gonna hold you outside of the actual weather and it being so damn cold. Is that the ball that drops from New Year's? Hold on. Hold on. I need one of y'all to tell me what's up with it. Y'all let us know in the DMs if that's the ball that drops on New Year's. If not, I'm tripping. It's all love though. Dash, what's going on with you, fam?
How you doing, man?
Ain't shit. Ain't shit. Madam Tussauds and shit. I ain't never been to this motherfucker a day in my life. Nor will I ever go to this motherfucker. Weird ass motherfucker. Let me stop. You know what I mean? How was your day so far, fam?
I was chilling. This weekend was cool. This weekend been fly. How's your weekend?
I can't complain. It was a beautiful weekend, you know what I'm saying? It was filled with some work, but it was mostly relaxing. So, with that being said, God is good. I can't complain on it. You dig?
I can definitely dig that.
Ooh, ooh. These kids is transfixed. They heard that they closed McDonald's and they were all like,
Nobody can cook no more.
you know what I'm saying? Let me put up this joint right quick. Black history. You know what I mean? Or is it? So, came across this topic because I was talking to a loved one over the weekend, and you know how we get down when we talk to fam and shit. We let our thoughts flow, and
Yeah.
then we inspire each other to critically think about certain things that most people might just passively be thinking about. So I was thinking about just, you know, dialogue and narratives regarding black people and what is and what isn't, what should, what shouldn't be, and things of that nature until I just said, you know what? It's the month for it. So we should talk about it, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
with that being said, you know, there's no disrespect at all. It's all love. So we're gonna send all our love to every black individual. You can hit me if you want, nigga. I need money. But to every black individual who has made an impact, we're gonna send our love to. Absolutely. But this is beyond that. We wanna get into the realness of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I realize that I have a privilege that sets me apart from the typical black person. Because Dash, you already know this, I don't identify as black. I'm Liberian, and I was born here. I identify more African American than being black. But I still want to get to the bottom of what it is to be black or whatnot. So from your perspective, Dash, if anybody in here that's watching as well, you know what I mean? What does being black mean to you? You know, like what characterizes being black outside of our skin color, obviously?
Well, Ishmami, what's up with you? Well, being black is a privilege first and foremost. Like it's a privilege to be black. You know, despite all the burdens and struggles that may come your way by being black and actually having a skin color, it's actually a blessing. the things you're taught with um it seems like because just when you have conversations with most black people, you kind of realize how similar the background of how you were raised were, like in a general sense. But black people, we're resilient, we're resourceful, we're creative, we're smart, we're educated, we're balanced, we're flawed, and we're blessings, like, you give the good with the bad. Like, it's not just being black is not just the skin color, it's the swag and the persona you give off, it's the personality you give. Being black is not just a color thing, it's cultural, like, you know. So there's a lot of blessings in being black. I don't never look at it as being a disadvantage. That's why I kind of be looking at it as an insult when people don't acknowledge their blackness or want to accept, like, yo, I'm a black person. It's just like, yeah, I mean, like, I understand where you come from when you say you Liberian and everything, but at the end of the day, over here in America, all they see you as a black man, like, why you identify as Liberian, like, when white people look at you, they see a black man. They don't say, "Oh, that's a Liberian man." They go like, "That's a black man." Now, however you identify as, and that's your point. But they don't really care too much about that. So I do kind of feel like, as black people overall, we kind of gotta just take more pride into, like, yeah, it's different. It's different. I'm losing the track of the right word for it is, but it's different categories of black people. But if we're all black, the whole chorus should be like, yo, let's fight for that. Let's fight for the betterment of that. Be proud and stand on that, like, because a lot of times people look at it as like a negative, like, oh, okay, like, you're black, you're necessarily into game bang, you're necessarily into this, that, and part of, like, the black culture is we kind of gotta erase those stigmas that's out there about us.
Word.
We can't
I,
just rest on them laurels of letting people get comfortable with what they think the idea of being black is. A lot of times, like, even me in my personal day to day, like, when I come across certain white people, I have a hard time even cultivating relationships with them because of their preconceived notions of what a black person is, you know. And once I identify that's how you identify people as based off of, like, natures, it makes it even harder for me to even want to open up and allow you the chance to prove you wrong. Because it's just like, all right, well, if you already kind of got this idea where you think my people or how you think I'm going to be based off the color of my skin, do I really even want to give you the time to even prove you wrong? And do I even feel like I need to prove you wrong at this point? Like, that's another thing. Like, so, I mean, go ahead, my bad. I know I've been rambling on for a minute.
no, that's smooth. That's smooth. I hear you too. And just for everybody that's watching too, I know y'all saw this little selfie shit that I had with the fucking Disney characters, and I just spun off on them. Nigga, I'm from Brooklyn. I know what a hustle is. Motherfuckers wanted me to force pay them for a fucking selfie. Eat dick, nigga. Pardon me. Eat strong, nigga. But anyway, so
In New York.
regarding what you're saying, though, Dash, you know what I mean? It's something that I've thought about, especially in regards to what you mean when you say that, even for individuals like me that might not identify as in America, you looked at, you're looked at how you looked at, you know what I mean? You can't really escape that. And that's also something I've come to peace with myself, as far as, I'm not one of those that just because I don't identify as, if you come out and you say, hey, black man, or peace, black man, or how you doing, I'm not going to, like, be one of those, like, stuck up niggas like, I'm not black, don't do, like, nah, like, it is what it is. I'm able to live between the parallels. Only difference is you're not going to be able to use a black card on me to allow me to, or to force me to fall into certain expectations or flows or ways that one might characterize a black person, because it's my choice. It's my choice whether I'm going to take those tropes, those stigmas, those stereotypes and reinforce them, or whether I'm just going to be the individual that I am and I'm just going to be who I am, you know what I'm saying? So, and as well as jumping further into the concept, there was something that I was talking about this weekend, and it's one of my favorite episodes from the Boondocks when they were talking about soul food. From the episode, the itis, Omi, what's going on with you, love? Each mommy, Pretty Rule. How y'all loves doing?
I can't see
So
comments.
on the Itis episode, you know what I mean, Grandpa decided to open himself a restaurant, and it had soul food in it, but it was so disgusting. And by disgusting, I'm not talking about the actual taste. The taste was delicious, but it did so much damage. And Huey was breaking knowledge about, you know what I'm saying, how the food was destructive. And OG was like, that food is your culture. And so Huey was like, then the culture is destructive. So it got me thinking, maybe black culture is trauma. Like, what is black culture for real? You know what I'm saying? What is the cornerstone of black culture that allows it to be more than just stereotypes and tropes? What is the basis of black culture that allows it to be something celebrated and not something that can be used as a detriment towards us?
Well, first my comments are off, and that's kind of a loaded question because the culture isn't exactly just one thing; it's multifaceted. And while we have drama in it, yeah, it can be aggressive in nature. I wouldn't say it's drama based, like solely, like yeah, like disagreements and agitation happen. You know, do we live and enjoy drama? Yes, as a culture, we do enjoy the hell out of drama, but also, who in life don't enjoy drama? You know, like if you going through every day and it's peaches and cream, you know, like after a while, you're gonna start to get bored with that shit. Like, you know, like you need some friction in the system just to make the wheels spin sometimes, just to keep everything at ease and entertain, relax. You know, sometimes getting a good yell off a person help you relax and relaxes your moods. You know, like I know when I get into fights, like I'm not always. It's a fight. I don't know. That was me or that was you?
Dad, you still with us? My phone
Yeah,
tripped up a little bit. You still with us?
yeah. You can hear me or see me?
I can hear you now, bro. That African butterfly, how you doing, love? We still here with it, fam. Go ahead.
I can't see none in the comments, so you're gonna have to read them Jones off.
Absolutely, I will. I will.
Uh,
And
I was saying, fighting don't necessarily mean it's a bad thing because there's been numerous times that I had like verbal or physical fight that I walked out refreshed from. Like it actually boosted my spirit or made me closer with the person. So that doesn't necessarily mean is the drama is bad, you know. Like, but we do dictate the culture. Like, black people, we are the first, the first and the last of the innovators. Like, fashion starts with us. Engineering starts with us. Education starts with us. Like things that we really make a vocal issue about, they typically get addressed when we stick together on that issue. It's just once we notify or made it known that this is an issue, we kind of got to stay united in that front of seeing it through. Like a lot of times we get complacent or satisfied with a check mark or let's just say a thing that go in our favor. Like I remember like before Camilla and Biden went to office, everybody was caping around talking about some, oh, you know, Camilla, she's a black woman, we gotta get behind her, black girl magic, this, that, and the third, you know. Now you had certain people like myself and others who, you know, was going at her book and her record and being like, yeah, she a black woman, but she's done a whole lot that hasn't been beneficial to the black community beforehand. So do we still rob her for the simple fact that she black? You know, no, and that's why I think it get caught up in the whole black pride. Like I think people confuse black pride with black stupidity. Like just because you black don't mean I'm going to support you in all your endeavors, especially if what you're doing hinders my people and the growth of us. Like, but if you have an idea or you're someone I believe is going to be beneficial to uplifting us, then the fact that you're black, I'm going to get behind you even more than I would if you were non-black. That's true. Like I'm not even going to hide my bias with that. Like, but I also had to be in line with the vision that you're walking with as well. Like it's not just blind faith out of the fact that you're black. Like, and I do remember how when Camilla was running for office, everybody was getting behind her because she was black and everything. And now we're in this position now where people are like kind of like pointing the blame, like, what have you done? What have you and Joe done? And it's just like, well, at the end of the day, she a VP. And if you honestly got behind her and voted for her under the notion of just for the simple fact, like, you kind of played yourself in that, you know, because you kind of got to understand the show of politics. Like, this is all a show at the end of the day. Like, just because they making promises doesn't necessarily mean this is what they're going to fall back on. Like, at the end of the day, they're doing what's best for them in the midst of survival, like we need to do for us.
Right.
But that was just an example of how, like, Black people, we could kind of get just caught up into the notion of, like, let's just support one of us. When sometimes sometimes supporting one of us is not even pushing one of us further along. It's holding you right where you at. Because you kind of need to understand, like, no, we aren't empowering you because the moves you're making are questionable, you know, or we expect better out of you, or you can be better, you know, like, so, like, let life settle you down, let life slow you down, you know. It's something in being persistent and patient, you know. Like, sometimes, you know, well, a lot of times, just because you don't receive the blessing in that moment don't mean you're not destined for the blessing. It just means in this current moment, you aren't ready for the blessing. Like, and that's okay. Like, sometimes you just kind of got to be patient. You kind of got to just sit with it, understand why you aren't ready. And in that waiting process, you'll get ready, hopefully.
Right. I feel that. I fucks with that, Dash. I ain't gonna hold you. Need Scotch, what's going on with you, fam? So let's get to some of these comments. And real quick before I get to these comments, because we're gonna jump right back into it. I apologize. I was moving around. There was a lot of noise and there was a lot of commotion, and I might have mispronounced. I meant to say black trauma with a T and not drama with a D. You know?
Oh,
So yeah. So I wanted to ask everybody in here as well. We're gonna get to the comments, but the question was as far as black culture being trauma, you know. But no, it's all love. It's all love. Like, it was a lot of shit going on, nigga. I had to dodge Iron Man and Minnie Mouse because they wanted money from me for a fucking selfie. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of shit going on. But let's get to these comments though. So each mommy said being black is a vibe. That eye contact with another person of color you don't know, but y'all feel the vibe. Hey, listen, that come with the 180 on both sides. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, and I felt it on both sides. It's a beautiful thing when you're able to eye contact with another person of color and it's love, and y'all don't even gotta say nothing, but y'all just understand situations. But it also comes with eye contact. Oh shit, it's about to go down, or I gotta be on my P's and Q's. You know what I mean? The energy isn't it isn't unilateral. Let's put it that way. The energy isn't unilateral. You know what I'm saying? It could be multifaceted as well. So
Black people are good with that because, like, when you, like, I know, for instance, for myself, like, I work with a lot of Caucasian and Puerto Ricans. So Black people are a rarity at my job. So when we do come in contact with each other, it is like a nonverbal cue that we communicate with each other. Like, I see you, like, I got your back, or you know, like, it's just a warm embrace. Like, I do notice at my job in particularly, like, the Black people go out their way to be extra friendly towards each other because we are a rarity, and it's just kind of hard to stay united when you see so few of your people up in there, but you want to see your people win at the same time.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real though. That African butterfly said all cultures and races have their positive parts and their toxic parts. You know,
Thanks.
first of all, exactly. First of all, that's facts. Completely agree. But there's something that's popularized about black culture being a negative more than anything else. Because let's put things in a real life perspective, right? Even if we're talking about white culture being a negative, right? White culture is mostly attributed to the destruction for the building of something, right? So we're looking at a negative, but we're looking at a negative in the aspect of something that was created as a positive for their culture. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that negative to a positive is for black culture. Because every time I look around and every time I hear things is being referred to or referenced to black culture, and I'm not talking African. We're separating African from black right now, just for this portion of the conversation. When I hear things referred to as black culture or referred to as in regards to this circle, in regards to this cipher, it's either something that's violent, it's either something that's untrustworthy, it's either something that that asks for, you know, we can't do it by ourselves. We need help outside our culture. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to go into the lineage and where we came from and all that, because it's a lot. We could be here for hours on end talking about it or whatnot. But Dash, where do you feel? I'm gonna get right back to the comments, I promise y'all. But where do you feel black culture as a negative turns into a positive? You know what I mean? So that you can enlighten me and put me on game and shit.
I think you kind of speaking towards like the negative side of it, like, and I think kind of like even when you started talking about like even the bad side of white culture, it's just like that's the side that most black people we speak from, because that's the side that we've known to them. But I mean, to say like that's all their race is, that's kind of unfair to the entire race. Like, true, they got a lot of fucked up shit. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Like they have done, and they continue to do a lot of them, but it's not all white people. So I don't.
Yeah, right.
Like when I have issues with white people, like and in my head, I'm guilty of it as well, and I kind of prejudge them based off of like the negative viewpoint of their lineage. Like I think back to that, but the people I encounter, they also display traits of people who identify as those, like, so they are like typically natural racists, like, and when I say natural racist, someone that just first encounter, they have a dislike for me simply because of my color of the skin, like we just met, but you got an issue with me because I'm black. Like you don't know me from a can of paint, I don't know you. You haven't even allowed me the opportunity to like present to you who I am, but you got a hatred for me just because I'm black. Like those type of people, I look at the mindset of yes, and I automatically place you into the category of like, okay, I'm not going to interact with you. I'm looking at you through that negative side. But there are white people that, color be damned. Like if you're a person, you're a person. I fuck with you, And I do enjoy those. They allow me to see a side of their culture, and honestly open themselves up to me to the point that I want to see their culture. Like, and there's some stuff that like I obviously make fun of, like jokingly, like by the way, like they eat certain food types and stuff. But it's honestly educational to know like this is how other people move. This is how they do things as opposed to how I would do things, and it's good to see like the differences in race. And I feel like for black people, like, yeah, while how you were saying, like we kind of get like the negative connotation of destruction, we killing, we destroying, this, that, and the third. That's the same thing for white people. Like that's the only side they've got to know from us, and like on their end, they kind of got to do better at being open and allowing themselves to be proven wrong. And black people, they kind of gotta want that same thing, because like you can be the most optimistic white person, you could try to learn black culture, but I mean, there's only so much you're going to learn outside of your race, through books, through TV, through music, without looking like you like either mimicking a culture or you're not authentic, and you're wanting to know about the culture, like, because it's like black people, we are tough, like, and I'm a person who's done it myself, where I seen a white person like listen to hip hop, thinking they down because they listen to hip hop, and like maybe they do have an open heart where they like this is their like olive leaf of like trying to be involved in the culture, but I kind of slammed that door on them. I'm just like, no, fuck out of here, lame ass white boy. You're not about to kidnap my culture like now too, like and not even give the person a chance. But it's just like as I'm getting older, it's just like, well, damn, like maybe that was their chance to try to be like, you know what? There's only so much I can learn from TV, from books. Like I need an actual black person to interact with to understand like why when I do or say something, it's an issue, And black people, we need that for like the white people, like like it's part of really like ideally you want all races to kind of intermingle and like have like this la feel like the U.S. like want to push along, like all races get along. But honestly, we go and have differences because we all come from different backgrounds. But it's in figuring out those differences that we'll figure out that we have a lot more similarities than differences. But you also kind of got to strip yourself of all the negative connotations that you heard about this race, and the previous notions that you heard about how they act, move, and kind of got to walk in with a blank slate of like, all right, damn what the races are, who are you? You
Yeah.
know, and then judge that person based off of that. And then the race is just the race, you know, like.
I feel I fuck with it too. Each mommy said something that I would like for us to investigate a bit. And I'm grateful for everybody who's dropping y'all comments. Thank y'all for y'all enthusiasm. Thank y'all for y'all participation and y'all insight. I'm gonna get to as many of them as I can. Each mommy said Kamala is a bed wench and a mulatto passing for black. Thank you for that comment, because I want to talk about that. Also goes into the question that started this, as far as what is black. I don't know what that means as far as somebody passing for black. I know what it means, but in this context, does passing for black mean that you're not black? Because if you have to say passing for black instead of black, then that means that there's something about you that doesn't make you quite as black as a person who would be characterized as black off go. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
when you like, do you mean like either you identify yourself as black or you're like a white person trying to say like I'm black, kind of like how the white girl was a few years ago, Rachel Doe.
I know who you talking about too. I forgot Shorty's name. When she was like the vice president of some crazy shit for the NAACP or some crazy shit. Yo, listen, don't
Yeah,
kill me. I'm spitballing here. It's something. It's something. She was a high ranking member in some black organization, and it came out that she was white. I don't know her name, but that shit was
Rachel Doe.
hilarious to me.
I
Huh?
think it was Rachel Doche or Rachel.
Yes, Rachel Doshel or Doshel or Doshi or Douche. One of the dudes. That was her name. Yes.
I was just I remember her and like honestly, even though she was white, I wasn't mad at it because I was just like, you know, like in this new world that we in, you know, where you got women saying they guys, guys saying they women, you can't say the word female no more without it being an issue. Like, why can't you be black if you want to be black? Like, I mean, it's not like she was trying to be disrespectful. The girl actually took her time and she was thorough in her knowledge of black people. And I've seen countless interviews where she was quoting and talking about black characters that we don't even talk about in school. Like, and honestly, I remember she did one interview with CNN, and I was sitting with two of my friends, college educated. One of them from the Ivy League too. And we were sitting there watching the interview that she was having on CNN. She was talking about all these black figures. And my friend who went to Ivy League had no idea what about 5 of the black characters she was talking about were, or that they even exist. So to me, it was just like, it's not like she ain't do her homework. And if she more educated than us about our own culture, like, who am I to be mad that she want to be a part of the culture? Like, yeah, come on over here. Help uplift my, you know, be the white face to help us bring these black faces on board. Like, you know, like, because sometimes you do need, well, you do need that in this country. You do need your white ally to help, you know, cultivate their people and make things easier for us. But, you know, like, that's a different story too. Like,
I feel you. I feel you.
another note, I hate Black History Month too. Like that, I don't know if you wanted to talk about that in this topic, but
Absolutely.
while we up in here, I do want to address that because that's always been a nag on me. Because not that I don't think that we need a Black History, because I do feel like this country needs a Black History Month. The problem is we don't need it one month out of the year. Black History need to be something that's pushed year round. Like, and I'm not just talking about like the central figures we known about our whole lives: Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X. I'm talking about like real, not real, because they're real.
I'm with you. Go ahead. I know.
Like, like, it's a lot of black people throughout the history of Black history that have gone unnoticed, untalked about, that's done a lot more than those 3 figures. And not saying those 3 figures haven't been important, but we got a lot of important figures that go unheard, untalked about. Like, the richest person in the world was a black person. I didn't even know that until this year. So, like,
Yes, sir.
system as a total fell black people in general, because even the information we are talking about is not really talking about or educating us about those black people and exactly why they were so needed and all that they done for us, because we don't get into the full scope of that. And even in the curriculums nowadays, they're erasing half the shit Because like in Texas, you can't even talk about slavery. Like that's banned. So how do you even start off talking about black culture? How do you even start talking about African Americans in the United States without mentioning slavery? Like you're just going like that's a big part of where our trauma comes from. Like because it's not even the fact that like we're carrying or holding on to stuff because it's like slavery wasn't that long ago. Like people talk like slavery was hundreds of years ago. Slavery was only really about 60 years ago. Like your great grandma was a part of slavery. Like your great grandma was probably a part of slavery. Your grandmother was probably a part of slavery. Like to keep it 100, like it wasn't that long ago. So this notion that black people are just harping on something that's been happening for eons and eons, no, this just happened. And you know what? Every race that's done deal with some type of trauma has been reciprocated properly to help their people grow and develop out of that rough situation. Like the Jewish, they got taken care of for the Holocaust. Like white people got taken care of. I don't know why, but they got taken care of. Like
I don't know why. Hold on, cuz. We need this Viacom money. We can't go in too much.
I'm just saying, like
Nah, with you.
a lot of things. Like so, I don't know. I'm not one of them black people that be like, oh, well, black people should stop arguing, should stop crying about reparations. It's just like, look, if a black person want to cry about reparations, cool. But am I personally going to stop and wait for reparations? No. Like, am I dependent or do I honestly think we will ever see reparations as a people? No. But for those that do want to champion, make that known that, yeah, black people haven't gotten proper reparations from slavery. I do appreciate them because you know what? While I feel like that might not happen, there is somebody that does feel like that might happen. And they might push the narrative to make that happen. You know, like, and there's been a lot of, well, and people in general, like, like you can sit back and fall back and be like, you know what, this is not going to happen. Or is some people that be like, you know what, yeah, this hasn't happened, but I'm going to make it happen, you know, like, so you can kind of be one of those two people, you know, and race don't really matter in that situation. It just kind of depends on the type of person you are and what you're willing to fight for, or, you know, what's really important to you at that moment.
Right. I feel that. So there was a few comments that I wanted to jump back into that they flew in the groove of talking about being a mulatto and how some of us would identify as such. So here we go. Ishmami said, I truly believe mulatto is not black. My experience as a black woman is completely different. That African butterfly said she's black, not passing for black. There's no one way to be black, so I hate when people say that about other black people just because they don't agree with them. And Betty Boop said, as for Kamala, in my honest opinion, I think she's black, quote unquote. Because despite her not being ADOS, I'm not sure what that is. Could you please drop that definition down, please, Betty Boop? And biracial, her phenotype reads black auntie, evil auntie, but still. So I dig on that.
And that's big too, because jumping back to butterfly comment real quick, I do hate that we try to pigeonhole black people into this one idea of what a black person is. Because like what drove me crazy growing up as a kid was being, well, I was a nerd, and like what I really hate is like the educational flex is looked at upon as being white.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like, and that drove me crazy when I'm in school, because it's just like, well, damn, like, because I'm black, I'm not supposed to be educated, like, and as my people, like, y'all don't think we supposed to be smart, like, and that will always be like a gear for me. Like, whenever I'm in school and somebody be like, oh, you acting white, it'd be like, no, I'm not acting white, I'm being myself. Like, this is just who I am. Like, the fact that I'm smart and you not, like, I can't help that, but just tell you, look, pick up a book, like, now,
get a dash.
No, for real, because I really hate that. Like, and like I'm starting, like, and it start young. Like, it's we say it so easily, like, and it's like passed down that the next generation picks it up so easily. Like, I even seen in interactions with my cousins, my baby cousins, this weekend, And one of them said it to the younger cousin. She was only like 4, but I scolded her hard. And I was just like, don't ever say that. Like, and I got on to me. I was just like, yo, what you say out your mouth? And she was just like, I said he acting white. And I was just like, don't ever say that. And she looking at me and she getting scared. And I was just like, you black, you beautiful, you smart. Aren't you smart? She's like, yes. Yes, I am, Cousin Donnie. I'm just like, all right, he's smart too. Don't never doubt your people, especially not your family. Like, but I know it didn't really, it couldn't really resonate with her because she only 4. But like for me, it's just like, no, I'm going, like when I hear that, I'm going to beat that out of you. I'm not even going to let you sit with that because I hate that. Like I don't want you to ever think, yo, because I'm black, I'm not supposed to be smart. And when I am, I'm acting like a different culture. No, you're acting yourself. You're embracing who you are.
Right. Right.
Like, and understand, like, in being black is being powerful, and it's a responsibility because, like, when you are black, you aren't just representing yourself. Like, and it's a burden that we carry, and I hate it, but it's a burden that you're gonna have to live with being black, and that's just part of your responsibility. When you walk into a room as a black man or woman, you're looked at as differently. Like, you carrying the weight of your culture, whether you wanna agree with it or not. Like, when people of the opposite race see you, they view you for your race entirely. Mm-hmm. Now, do certain black people do that for other people? Yes. Do the bulk of us? No. Like, when we meet you, we meet you. Like, and however you are, you are. Like, I done ran into plenty of people who be like, oh, man, plenty of black guys that be like, yo, that's a crazy-ass white boy. I fuck with him. Like, as opposed to, oh, no, that's a white person, you know, like I ain't even going to interact with them, you know, like it's more so that, like, as a black person, you're more, in my experiences, you're more entitled to give a person a chance based off of who they are and allow that person to prove to you who they are and if you're going to rock with them, as opposed to saying, look, you're this race, I'm not going to give you that chance, as opposed to the other races where they look at you and say, nah, you that race, I'm not even really trying to entertain that unless I have to cultivate a relationship with you, i.e. we work together, i.e. we go to school together, i.e. some public form of facet where if I don't speak to you, you know, publicly, it'll make it an issue, you know.
I feel you. I'm with you on that. And you said a couple of points that makes it, I don't want to say easier, but it brings a certain legitimacy to why I say that I think black culture is trauma. One, I completely agree with you. Intelligence is looked at as far as the black community to some degree as something that is above and beyond us, at least at a grade school level. I'm not going to say when you graduate and you get into the real world, you understand a lot of the shit that they pushed at you as far as peer pressure and as far as institutionalized education is bullshit. Yeah. You have to graduate before you can actually understand, wait a minute.
Problem. Like,
that was like the first level of inception and shit. You know what I mean? Once you graduate the first level of inception, you get to know what the real shit is and whatnot. You know what I mean? And there is a thing about intelligence and speaking a certain way with a certain vernacular, with being able to pronunciate, with being able to enunciate and shit like that. That puts you in a different level. It's just like, yo, man, you acting. You know what I'm saying? Black people don't act like that. And then also what you said about slavery as being something that is a pivotal part of American history. And also where I believe black culture started from, because I still believe to this day Africans weren't calling themselves black in Africa before slavery. It was no fucking reason. It wouldn't make no sense. You would be called according to your region. You would be called according to your class. You would be called according to your tribe. And honestly, why the fuck would you be called according to your skin and everybody is classified as the same skin type? You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, that's where I mostly feel like when you speak about who you are, that's where you speak from, as if like we're still in Africa. And I honestly feel like if we were in Africa, or even if we had came to America on our own, we would interact with each other how you interact. Like, we would be like, yo, I'm Cambodian or I'm Liberian. It wouldn't be I'm black. It'd be like literally where I'm from. Like, and then like that's how we would identify each other. And I do believe, like how you said, like, because we were taken here, they called us black, and we just kind of adopted that and we remixed it, just like we remixed the word nigga. Like, we don't like we harp on the pain, but we don't keep that pain all the time. Like, we start remixing it, like, nah, you're not gonna continue breaking me down. Like especially as we start to kind of figure out more and more about ourselves, because like how you said, slavery is American history. Like, so a lot of our history, we really don't know where we came. Like, we just know like the part that started in America, but we don't really know the full origins. Like, where was the seed planted? Like, who are my people? You know, like, and even if you dig in, like, you're not completely 100% sure. Like, yeah, these machines or whatever can tell you, you know, this is you. But how do you really, in your heart of hearts, know, like, this machine didn't fuck up and you really not something else? You know, like
Yeah.
one of my friends was getting me onto Ancestry.com, and I'm just like, yeah, I can go through all this. And, you know, like, even going through it, I was just like, you know, like, but at the end of the day, I will never fully 100% know for sure. Like, even if I did travel over here, you know, who is going to put me in the direction of my people? How am I really going to identify with them, even though we may share the same skin color? How will I really know these are my family, you know, like, or my lineage?
Right.
Like, I this paper all day saying we are, but we don't. I mean, you know.
Nah, I feel you. I'm with that. Yo, these comments are clicking. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can. I apologize, and I know that there's internal dialogue that's going on between everybody that's in the audience right now. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to get some of the comments that aren't a part of the internal dialogue and that connect to where we are currently in the conversation. Neat Scotch said education is the biggest factor of the difference in modern society. That's a motherfucking fact right there. Betty Boop said, trauma unaddressed, but also resilience. We lack pride in our positive and highlight our negative. We got to change the narrative. That's a fact too. We appreciate you on bringing up that insight and that perspective, because that's real as well. And that African butterfly asked and also stated, is our culture trauma, or is the trauma of our culture the only thing that's being highlighted? Again, internalized white supremacy. Let's talk about that real quick. That's real. That's real. And we're also going to get to shouting out some contemporary black figures that are doing their thing right now for Black history. We ain't even going to call it Black history. We're going to call it Black now. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into that, let's talk about the internalized white supremacy. That shit is so real. That shit is so real. I don't know if I ever said this on PVM, but my mom, God rest her spirit, before she transitioned, it was something that, you know, it was kind of like a game, not game, it was kind of like said in joking, but also there was some intent behind it, because my mom was done wrong by her own people in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So there were things that were happening as far as what was being I guess colonized. Yeah, what has been colonized. There were certain things that, in respect to what has been colonized, that affected Africans, that affected Liberians. Let's just talk about my people real quick. But there were also aspects of what weren't colonized per se that still ended up being a tumble or a trickle down fuck up for people who were in the villages. So my mom was born in a village. She didn't get to the city until she was much older, when she was able to get away from the situation that she was in. My mom was she was a child of a polygamous relationship. And my grandfather, he won shit, you know what I'm saying? So because he lost a loved one, my grandma ran away from her responsibilities, and my grandfather, that was her favorite wife. So because he lost his favorite wife, he took it out on the child, you know what I mean? And treated my mom like shit, basically. So my mom escaped. She made it her own way. She hustled. She got her own business. She hustled. She found a ticket. She hustled. She made it out from Monrovia, Liberia to Brooklyn, New York. Gave birth to me. She hustled. She got me out of the hood. You know what I mean? To Northeast Philadelphia. You know, I come from that bloodline and shit. But also, she was also like of the ilk of, you know, if you gonna bring somebody into the house, like if you gonna bring a woman into the house, I want you to marry a white. She would tell me straight up. If not a white, a light skin. You know what I'm saying? And it is for the reasons that you would think. You know what I mean? The whole good hair, quote unquote, the whole I want my grandkids' skin to look a certain tone and shit. That shit real. And that shit, I don't think that shit is as invested as or invested in an African ideology as much as it is an internalized white supremacy and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it is extremely important for us to point out that there are a lot of internal white introspective and influential elements and aspects of the way that we look at black culture that taints the way that we look at black culture. You know what I'm saying? And it taints the way that we look at ourselves. You know what I mean? I had to talk to my mom and I had to have a real conversation with her one time. And I was like, so wait, you mean to tell me if I bring a white woman in here that treat me like trash, you good with it? But if I bring a black woman in here that treats me like a king, you gonna be like, nah? And when I put it that way, she was just like, all right, she basically broke it down like, I just want you to be happy and I just want somebody that's going to treat you right. No, real shit. And here's another thing. The other flip on it is to her, and this is also to the benefit of how blacks are looked at in this country. I believe each mommy says something to that effect. How blacks are looked at as far as Africans looking at blacks. My mom was like, I don't want you to have to deal with somebody that's going to be walking all over you. I don't want you to have to deal with somebody that's going to be disrespecting you, cussing you out, this, that, and the third, and shit like that. I want you to deal with somebody that when you talk, they listen. I want you to deal with somebody that when, you know what I'm saying, you move, they support you. Not somebody that's going to be a headache to you. So the narrative for my mom for many years has been that black people are this so-called headache, you know? And that's how she was raised, and it was hard to like pull her out of that. Yeah, we would have conversations every now and again, but because that was something that she was raised with, and it was reinforced by certain things that she would see here in this country, she was just like, I want my kid to go through that shit. Can't really blame her, yo. It's fucked up. Don't get me wrong. It's fucked up. But when you see certain things reinforced, it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah. And that's and that and lies the problem, because like that's the part of our culture that kind of get celebrated the most. I think that's where Butterfly was tapping into, like, too. Because like you do see it all the time. Like you see it on Love and Hip Hop. You see it like in the videos. You see it in the music. You hear it like you see it like on TV with Chicago. Like, you know, like you know. So you already, and then like if you're already from, I don't want to keep saying racist, but racist. You know, like family. You know, like you already got your family constantly telling you black people are horrible, we're this, that, and the third. Then this is what you're seeing on TV, so that just kind of further confirms what your family's saying is true. So like that's the even bigger issue, because it's not like they go to school and they're, you know, welcome with a full amount of black people to change this perspective. They're going to a school where a whole bunch of other white people, so that narrative is staying with them. So when they do see that one black person, and one time they exhibit a slight bit of frustration, it's, oh, Jamal might shoot up the bitch, and like it's you can't blame them. You can't blame them. You can't blame them. But at the same time, you want to blame them, because it's just like, well, damn, like at some point, do we hold you accountable for the lack of information that you don't have? But at the same time, can we hold you accountable when you don't know you need to seek the knowledge? Like,
Yeah, that's real. That's real. So each mommy said something that I want to get into, and that's real because it actually gets into the next point that I want to bring up in this conversation. Each mommy said, I've never faced blatant racism in America. Systemic, yes. But Africa, shit's blatant. Thank you for saying that. There's something that I wanted to bring up as far as the question. There is this thing, this adage, if you will, how black people can't be racist.
oh no, black people are more racist than anybody.
Hold on, Dash. We're going to get into it. Because I feel the same way. Now, I had conversations with some people, and they made it apparent, or evidence, I would say. They made it evident to me that being in America and being black puts you at a certain ring on the totem pole in which you don't have power enough to be able to be racist. So it clicks in my head, and it's like, okay, well, me personally, if I hear that black people can't be racist, I'm hearing that black people don't have power. Because racism, to be able to be racist, means that you have some type of infrastructure and some type of foundation of power. So I thank Ish Mommy for saying that, because it makes sense that in Africa, they look at black people different because that's their land. They're like, hey, we talk this way, we move this way. Who are you? Our power is invested in the land. Yeah, it might be divvied up a card like according to other motherfucking countries and different histories and this and the third, but listen, this is our land. You know what I'm saying? So I had a conversation actually when I was in Philly momentarily this weekend. I had a conversation with a Lyft driver. He was a Nigerian. He tried to play me. You know what I'm saying? I messed up his name. I called him Dan. His name was Don. So he felt some type of way, right? Right off the gate. And he looked at my name. He was like, Jeide. Jeide. He looked at it. I was like, yeah, it's Liberian. It means blessing. Then he's like, huh. And I started naming my tribes, and I slipped and I misnamed one of my tribes according to the name that was given to me by my mom. And I was like, oh, not that tribe. And he was just like, oh, you don't know your tribes? I was like, hold on, bro. I know all my tribes. I named all my tribes down. You know what I mean? And I even switched to my broken English. And he was like, oh, okay. So that's real. What each mommy saying is real. You know what I mean? This Nigerian driver even told me, he was just like, yo, he said there's several occasions throughout the ride. He was like, yo, you should go back. Because I was talking about going back, you know what I mean, to go see my grandma and to go see my family or whatnot. And just to be somewhere that I haven't been before that has so much culture and that has so much of my roots invested, you know what I mean? And he was just like, yeah, you should go back if you get the chance because, look, you talk just like them. And then he said that more than once. He stated that because I speak like them, and mind you, I don't know my native tongue. I can't even hear my native tongue. I only speak broken English because that was the one thing that I clicked to being born in America and being introduced into English or into American language and being able to make the connection between American language and Pidgin, aka broken English. But because I was able to speak Pidgin, he was like, yo, you will be good going back. You know what I mean? Just don't be too flashy, but you already speak like us. You will be good. You know what I'm saying? So where's the line? Because if we're saying that black people are in Africa, we can't say that black people are not racist and then be able to have a comment like Ish Mommy's in which we say that Africans are racist towards blacks.
I mean, you can, because like it's like I said at the beginning, like it's multifaceted and like how you want to look at it and how all this connects. Like, yeah, that's all true. Like, and it don't make sense. Like, and you would think like because we've experienced racism, we wouldn't deviate among ourselves. You would think, but like also racism isn't like a white people's way of thinking either. It's just a way of thinking, you know. It's judgmental on what it is. It's just you literally just judging a person strictly based off because they're different than you, you know, like, and that doesn't translate to just one race of doing that. It's just, you know, white people just obviously because of what they done, it brought more notoriety to it, and because we're the descendants of those people that they brought over, you know, like we dealing with the issues. Like, but I mean, like, let's say for instance, if it was the other way around, like if it was black people that brought over white people, I'm sure. Well, I don't know for a fact white people are racist against other white people. Like, but the way they break it down is more like in a financial state, like. So they'll treat one of their own, like you'll hear them say, what's the trailer park trash or some shit like that, you know, like while we be like, you know, like it, even in the hood, like we break it down, like you're like amongst some of my friends, we'll be like, yo, it's a difference between niggas and black people, you know, like black people, you know, we walk, we got a certain decorum about ourselves. We can conduct ourselves in public. Black niggas, they the ones who you're in a movie theater and you're just like, yo, why this nigga talking so loud? Like, whole theater of people, like, why you gotta be the one that can't shut the fuck up? Like, we all have our money, but you gotta be the one that gotta give commentary to the commentary. Like, so like, it's like, everybody, like, I'm just kind of trying to give like different examples, but like you're going to be racist amongst your group, like, or find some type of fault within your people, you know, like that fault just can't turn into self-hate, and that self-hate can't lead to the divide of your people, you know, like it can be things that you wish certain people or that your race was known for that y'all wasn't known for, and like try to work to, you know, destroy that image or eliminate that way of thinking when that avoid that way of thinking when it's in turn, you know, utilized to think about your people. But I don't know. Take it over.
I dig it. Let's get back to these comments. Them shits is clicking. So, Omi Creates, and thank you for bringing up economy and how it plays as far as racism. Because Omi Creates said there is a lot of blatant racism here in the States. It's gone mostly covert because people now value quote unquote black dollars. That's some real shit. It's funny because I was sent an article. I guess it was an article, you know what I mean, a visual article, if you will, or a video article about Black Lives Matter and how I believe it's the chapter, or I don't know if it's the organization started in California or if there's a chapter of the organization in California, but a representation of the organization in California is being sued for $60 million or is being investigated for $60 million unaccounted for, as far as money that was received through Black Lives Matter, pardon me, I guess protests and certain situations, and not situations, but certain things that were instilled in order for people to send their money to help to support, and the $60 million unaccounted for. You know what I'm saying? So there is real legitimacy towards that statement. Omi, much love for it.
Oh shit.
Neat Scott said, people are people no matter where they from. That's a super fact. And Ishmami said, it's the light-skinned Africans who behave this way, the Arab Africans or the Arab Africans. When you go to the South, they are dark. And Betty Boop said it's the word racism. That's all prejudice. Anyone can be prejudiced. That combo was crazy, but he can't keep you from moving in the neighborhood. Word, word, word. And she also said, I guess we can't be racist amongst our own, but that don't make sense since it's ethnicity and nationality we're beefing about. Yeah.
Fine. It's all kind of fall under that racism umbrella, though, in a sense. So, you know, like it kind of all kind of get pigeonholed into one category, like after a while, like.
Oh, my fault, Dash. I'm thinking about Betty Boop's comment, and I'm also thinking about Neat Scotch's comment as far as education or modern education and how education is given to us. And I'm thinking, I guess we can't be racist be racist amongst our own, but that don't make sense since it's ethnicity and nationality we're beefing about. What happens to a group of people who don't know their ethnicity? And the only thing that they hang their hat on is their nationality, based upon a country that not only doesn't accept them, but it makes sense. It's so blatantly obvious that I won't say we don't belong here, but we didn't start here. You know?
Say that because white people didn't start here either. Like Native Americans, this is the natives' land. Like, so honestly, like, unless you're Native American, you really don't have the right to be saying this is your land for real, for real. Like, and that's what really has me fucked up is that we really walk around with that idea of like, oh, because I look a certain way, maybe I don't. I mean, who's to say these Native Americans was all light skinned? Like, in my mind, like most Native Americans I've come across have been of the darkest skin complexion. So for me, Caucasians, y'all don't belong here. Like, y'all started in Europe. You know, like when we start hitting that, you can go home as yeah, y'all can go on home. Like, and take these Eurocentric ideas with y'all. Nah, I'm
Oh shit! Not for nothing. We rounding off on the hour period. Let's get down to, you know, to being able to give the flowers to the contemporary black people right now that's doing their thing. Black now, fuck Black History, Black now. I want to give my flowers to a family member, Isaiah, aka Murph's sister, Khadijah Dasso, or Doso. If I mispronounce your name, please don't cut my head off. I love you, Didi, I really do. But Khadijah, she has a beauty line that has been so successful thus far that she has a billboard in Philadelphia right now. She has a billboard in Philadelphia for Dasso products or for Doso products right now. And the family is entirely proud of her right now. She's continuing to do great things with her beauty line. She's continuing to move and she's continuing to shake. And she's beyond a great representation of a black person. She's a great representation of a fucking brilliant woman. You know what I mean? So we're sending our flowers and we're sending our love to Khadijah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I didn't know if we was going like regular people that we knew, or if it was like the higher shit. So
It don't matter. Yeah, any which way, any which way.
Well, the first one I got is Angela Rye. You know, I've been following her career and her trajectory for a minute now, and she does a lot of things for the black community as far as like just knowledge, teaching, political campaign, political knowledge, you know. But recently she just started with ESPN. They kind of bring more black people to the network for real, like, and give them a deeper introspective into the black perspective in our culture and our understanding, our way of thinking. And, you know, kind of just to kind of start opening up the minds and the doors of the people that's behind them doors and all them white people up there that go clueless, you know. So, big ups to her, you know, and supporting her. And, like, I just know she's going to do a phenomenal job because, like, she is one of the few black people I appreciate that's doing these. When they're talking, how does the black person feel? You get this generic ass answer. Like, she's really one of those people that kind of give me one of the most authentic answers. Like, she don't have to say it, you know, in a aggressive manner, but she get her point across. Where it's just like, no, like, this shit is nutty. Like, and this is why it's like, and give thorough opinion and points of view where it, like, honestly, at the end of the conversation, if you don't really understand where she's coming from, then you just weren't trying to understand, because she dumbs it down for you, where, like, regardless of your intellect, you should be able to pick up on what she's saying. This is the feeling behind it. So, and just as like a regular civilian person, one of my friends out in New York, she's kind of running this law firm. So, like, congratulations to her. That's actually a lot of where my weekend was spent, helping her celebrate. So shout outs to her, but she also in the community as well, giving back, doing soup kitchens, you know, and when she can doing protests, you know, even though, like, I keep trying to tell her that's really not going to be a good look for her career path to kind of consistently be out there. But, you know, she's one of those women that extremely pro-black, and she doesn't hesitate to tell you why she's pro-black and the reasons why she is the way she is. And, you know, I love her for that, and, you know, like, she's doing her thing. So.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Listen, these comments are still clicking. We have to get up off of here because, one, it's cold as fuck out here. I ain't gonna hold you. We already passed the hour mark. But what's good? What's good, Dash? We might have to have a part 2 because there's a lot of unheard voices that put some gems out here, you know what I mean? And I would love for us to get to as many of these voices as we can in another conversation and give rise to a lot more dialogue that we can have, or even trialogue or quadruplelogue. I don't know if quadruplelogue is a word, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? As far as inviting some people to have a conversation with us this month or whatnot. So we might have to have a part 2 of this.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, we could follow this up on Wednesday. Then whoever want to join in the live, they can definitely join in the live. Or just let us know in DMs, you know, maybe even if you don't want to jump in the live, maybe you've got a couple questions you want to get off or say something. So send those into the DM, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This episode will be up there around midnight tonight. And, you know, stay blessed up, stay prayed up. I'm Dash Smith. This is...
And I'm Jeide. Yeah! And word to Miss Davis, too. You looking real sharp there, brother. I fuck with the shape up. I fuck with the cut. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
like I said, it was a celebration weekend, so I had to clean it up. Like,
Word up. So look, it's official. Catch us this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Positive vibes, maybe. We're going to have part 2 of this talk. Black now. Fuck Black history. But it's no disrespect to Black history because there's no scaffolding and there's no high rise without the foundation. Jeide A-Track, Dash Smith. Catch you Wednesday. Peace.